So you feel like you can't see God working in your life, that he's just this distant guy 1,000 miles up in the air and you can't even see him. He's just watching, looking down on you from a distance. He's cold. You try and talk to him, there's no answer. And you just feel like you're voicing your opinion out to the air, like there's no one that hears you. I understand. But I want to read you a verse from Hebrews that goes, "Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen." And it's hope in these things unseen. If I can just put faith into like a simple phrase, it would be confidence in things you cannot see or understand. And this isn't blind faith. We have all these parables, we have all these stories, we have all these lessons, and they're not there for no reason. God wasn't just like, oh yeah, let's sprinkle that in there for like no reason. No, every single word, there's a purpose behind it. And in that same way, every single lesson you learn, every single emotion you feel, every single thought you have, every single thing you do and person that comes into your life is for a reason. And there's a purpose behind it, whether you can understand it or not, right? And just because you can't understand it doesn't mean it doesn't have a purpose. In fact, I would go as far as to say, because you can't understand it, those usually have the greatest purposes for your life to shape you, because you realize you can't lean on your own understanding. You have to lean on God, or else what? You're gonna fall because you can't understand it anymore. You have nothing to lean on. And if you don't take God's hand, well, then you're just gonna be like led into a dark room. Imagine a room that is completely pitch black, and you find yourself in a dark room, the door is locked behind you. You just have to find a way to find a way out somehow through that pitch black darkness with your own eyes. Don't even realize there's a lamp right next to you and a matchstick to light it, but you're too afraid to light it because you're too afraid to get burned. When God leads you into the wilderness, he did not lead you into the wilderness to forsake you. You know, when he leads you out into places unknown, into the desert, into places where you need to completely rely on him and his understanding and to not rely on your own, you realize the places that you can understand the least are the places that transform you the most. I just want to give you some more background on faith, and I have some points written down for you here. From John 7:5, "For even his own brothers did not believe in him." When Jesus was doing all his miracles and showing signs and wonders, his own siblings who had known him since they were so small didn't even believe in him. Like, they knew about him. They knew, oh yeah, he can do miracles or whatever. But there's a difference between knowing Jesus and having faith in Jesus. Everyone can kind of know Jesus. Oh yeah, like the guy died on the cross, whatever. Even atheists believe that, okay? But to have faith in him is something different. And you know what I mean. That when you look around you and your world is being turned upside down and you don't know what the heck is happening, where do you look to? Where is your sense of peace? Because a lot of times when we're anxious about things, when we're so, we feel like it's all on us and the weight of the world is just crushing us, it's because who are we relying on? Ourselves. When we rely on ourselves, very quickly we see how weak we are. And in that weakness, is that either a time for panic or is that a time for peace because you realize you have someone else to give it to? Right? I want to read you another passage that I didn't plan this, but it just kept coming into my head. This is from my devotional. It says, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy and my burden is light." In our weakness, that is where we'll find our strength. And I know it sounds so corny, it sounds so cringe or whatever, but it's the truth, and I don't care what you really think. So, the Bible tells us the power that rose Jesus from the dead lives in us. And that's what we call the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit is unseen. We cannot see it with our eyes, but we can feel it. We can. And it's a skill as well. Think of God as the sun. If God is the sun, Jesus is the light. Okay, Jesus is the light. And the Holy Spirit is the warmth that you feel. You can't see it, but it's the warmth that you feel. But also in that cyclical nature, there's also night. And there will be times where you can't hear God's voice, where you can't see him working. But that doesn't mean the sun exploded, and the sun will rise again. But when we're in those times of night, who do you trust in? Do you panic oh my gosh, it's night outside, it's completely dark, the sun is never coming back? No. You know the sun is going to rise again. So you sleep, you rest, and you trust in it. It's that kind of faith. There were no signs that the sun was going to rise again. It's completely pitch dark outside. In fact, just before the sun rises, the night is the darkest, right? But you don't ask God for signs and wonders. God, is the sun going to rise again? No, you have faith in things unseen. And that's the same faith we need to approach with everything. If you want to hear more from a 17-year-old trying to figure out life, subscribe. It's a win-win for both of us. If you want to hear more about God, I pray before every video, and I hope the Lord speaks through me, because I feel like when my friends need it most, it's not me that's speaking, it's the Lord. And I know there's a certain danger to that, like my pride, but I know that He's with me through it all. And as long as I keep praying, He'll keep me in check, and He'll humble me. This is not my channel, it's the Lord's channel. Okay? If you've watched this far, then this video was for you. Get after it. Do I punch the camera anymore? Okay.